Steve Evans, I'll start with the same question I've just posed to Carl Piagiani. What a difference a win makes to the mood around this place and the town itself.
Yeah, very much so. I think a lot of people know we've been a lot of the games we've drawn, we should have won the games. It's not a case of we were holding on for draws, we just couldn't get goals after to win the games. Too many nil-nils, and that tells you when we're dominating and not scoring. But I think we made it clear to the players on Tuesday evening that we're simply in a position now, even to have any remote chance, we need to win every game. And hence my words after the game when I said it, 70 minutes we'll be like the Calvary trying to win it. And that'll be the same in the next three games because draws are not good enough anymore. We need to be winning to apply the pressure that Blackpool and Oxford and Lincoln need.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Tuesday night was that everything sort of clicked. It's not that it hasn't clicked totally previously. You've been creating the chances, just not taking them. This time you took a goal. Perhaps should have took even more.
Yeah, I think when I had Neil Collins, the Barnsley manager, come in for a beer afterwards, and he said that at one point in the second half, he said to his staff, this could be damage limitation because we'd gone 2-1 and very quickly the goalkeepers had a couple of really good saves and it was waves of attack. But I reminded him, you always know with the quality of player that he's got and with him being the general of that group, they're always going to have a late spell. They're going to throw caution to the wind, and they did. They literally left it man for man at the back, and that's why we countered. We should have probably killed the game completely, but it was a really good performance from the boys, a strong performance, full of energy, full of the DNA, what we've had for a couple of years here, and when you fill it up, we're a difficult team to stop.
I think that was while I was having a little chat with one of the lads, and he was saying we didn't actually expect to have, we didn't think we had this little bad run in us. No. We just didn't expect it to happen. Tuesday night, it all came out, the Stevenage that has been built up over the last 2 years.
Yeah, very much so, and I think it was, I think again I touched on it post-match where we've been subject to either losses or people drawn with us and people expressing their views in the tunnel quite loudly against us. I don't know why they do that with us. You know, in relative terms, we're a team that we can mix it with the best in this league, but we conduct ourselves properly. So we beat a really good Barnsley side when the boys went in quietly. They know they had to work really hard to achieve that. And they know we're going to have to work really hard in the next three games, but it's one game at a time. When we come out of Exeter, we said, right, it's 4 playoff finals we've got, simple as that, to try and give yourself a chance of playoff football. And we've dealt with Barnsley, and now we've got to deal with a Burton Albion side that if you take last week out of the equation, if you take that away, the Oxford game, every other game they've been in, it's bad being an odd goal, they've got beat or a draw, or they've got a young manager who I think highly of, and they've certainly got good players.
Yeah, well, Burton are fighting for something completely different on Saturday. But from your point of view, you brought in some lads who haven't played recently, haven't played for the last few months, and it's proven that the strength of the squad is key going into these last 3 games.
Yeah, very much so. We've been robbed of certain players for periods of time. Ashby Hammond makes a bad rick at Exeter, but he's been brilliant for us. 20 clean sheets. And but he has a groin injury post that. And then when you make a change, people say, well, what's behind the news? There is nothing behind the news. When we see Aaron Presley was ill and forgetting that, then his little niggles and knocks, and Kane Smith was ill with niggles and knocks, and Luther Wilden being exceptional, and Jimmy Reid being exceptional. There's rationales. When we pick a bench, we have to pick a bench to cover all eventualities. We'd all love 3 strikers on the bench, and we'd all love all our centre back. We love our squad on the bench, but we can't have it. So people look for things that's not there. We have a fantastic spirit in this camp, and when we've not been so good lately in the last month of football, we've kept that spirit very much the same as what it was when we were, starting the season, last season, getting promoted. The spirit's the same, and that's important with young men today. You have to give them an environment where they embellish and they want to come and they want to be part of it. And that's why you've seen, Reedy and Listy and Big Aaron deliver the type of performances that they did because they feel valued even when they're not on the team or not travelling. They're still a big part of us.
Squad-wise, I mean, there's 1 or 2 knocks. I think Alex McDonald's out for the season. Everyone else, with little niggles.
Yeah, we've been down some blows, haven't we? We've never had a good time here in terms of running free for injuries. But at the minute, you lose Caskey, then you lose McDonald, and Ashby Hammond goes out with a groin strain. We don't think that's too bad, and So from that point of view, we had lost Sweens, didn't we, because of his personal situation. We lost Piergianni because he assaulted someone. God. So from that point of view, we've been dealt some poor hands. But what you've got inside this camp is some real men, and I mean the dressing room, the players, some real men, some real strong characters, some people that want us to be in that end of season playoff group. And but we're going to have a little bit of luck along the way. But the most important ingredient our ingredients is we've got to have a DNA out the locker on Saturday, because if we don't, it'll possibly come to a conclusion on Saturday if other results went against it. So we need to be ready to do our part, and then have a little look at what's happening elsewhere.
Yeah, well, as a football fan, I have been looking elsewhere, and I've been sort of saying, oh, well, they're playing such and such, and they're playing such and such, and they might drop points there, and they might do this, that, and the other. Do you feel that as well? Does the football fan in you come out?
Listen, it's amazing that a lot of managers around the league say they don't look at league tables. Of course they look at league tables. We all look at league tables. What will Oxford people are doing on Saturday? I'm telling you, they'll be aware of what's happening at Lincoln. They'll be aware of what's happening with Blackpool. They'll be aware of what's happening with Stevenage. We'll be aware of what's happening with them. And sometimes there's a calculation. If they were losing and we're drawing and it's 94 minutes, do we go at the Calvary? You take the point, wouldn't you? Because you've closed it. But from our point of view, we're well aware when we look around. But everyone's got tough games. Burton Albion's fighting for a huge prize. The teams you want to play are in mid-table, aren't they? Look at our next 3 games that we finish with. We've got Burton Albion fighting to stay in League One, fight for the lice under a great owner. We go to Oxford, it could be a shootout, it could be a nothing out, couldn't it? And then we come up to Cheltenham on the last day, who might have to win to stay up, and we might have to win to get in the playoffs. So we've got a real tough run in that. I would much rather be playing teams that's middle of the park that can go from 15th to 12th or 12th to 15th. They don't really matter. But we've got games but that's everywhere at the weekend. If you look at Barnsley, for example, they've got Reading coming, then they go to Portsmouth. If you look at Blackpool, they have to go up to Carlisle, who've had another good one under Simmel. It's amazing when managers get their better players back, how results turn. Look at Carlisle, they've gone and won 2 away games. Some of his better players back and they win. It's not a surprise to me. And you look at Oxford, who entertain Peterborough. Peterborough has got a real chance. I watched them last night. They have a real chance of getting automatic promotion. They're in that fight with Derby and Bolton. They go to Oxford on Saturday. Can they win at Oxford? I'm not so sure, because Oxford's a bright side. But these are all the equations. I'm sure everyone will be watching what's going on around the country, all between 3 and 5.
Yeah, like you say, it's 3. I mean, it's a cliche. It's 3 cup finals, isn't it? But I mean, we were talking last night about Villa, funnily enough, and how that game panned out. It's going to be a similar story for these next 3 games, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I was talking to a manager in the Premier League on Tuesday, and he asked me what it was like to win at Aston Villa. You never win it. No, it is 3 cup finals, but for us it's individual cup finals. There's no point us thinking about going to Oxford next week, because we have to deal with Burton Albion, and that's in its own rights. It's tough. They've got really good players. This is a team that young managers going in, and he got an instant reaction, and they're winning games. And I can remember watching them against Derby County on the TV, and Burton were exceptional that night. Exceptional, and you look at what they're capable of. So we're going to have all our focus and all our concentrated thoughts on Burton Albion, and then, like everyone else, on at 5 o'clock, if we've taken care of our own business. If we're not, I'll be too sick to look at our results. I'll just go home, go into the dark bedroom. But if we get the right result, then we'll all be keen to learn how we get some help elsewhere. But the one thing it's important for us to remember, we cannot influence nothing that happens at Carlisle with Lincoln. Sorry, Blackpool. Yeah, Blackpool up to Carlisle. We can't influence that. We can't influence Lincoln. We can't influence Barnsley and Reading. We can't influence Oxford and Peterborough. We can influence Burton Albion on Saturday.
And talking of influence, the crowd on Saturday. I mean, they were jubilant on Tuesday night. You get ahead in that game, and the roof could come off.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why the Tuesday night's crowd really impressed us. We've had better numbers in terms of people in the ground, but it's people on holiday, half term, and different things. But from an overall point of view, the thing that impressed me is we go 1-0 down in a period in a game that's completely against the run of play, and they got louder. Our home support got louder. Obviously, Barnsley fans are jubilant, second attackers on the score a goal. But we had really, with a real focus to, the crowd had a real focus to support us and get behind us, and we thanked them. We needed them, and they were there.